Let's do last movie you went to see. Because I think that gets people in the comments commenting. Is college football over for you?
What's happening? Are we live? No way. Are we live?
Welcome to St. Augustine this evening, the Mike Davis Show. And I want to thank my producer, Amanda, for letting me know we were live. And I... Welcome to St. Augustine this evening, the Mike Davis Show. Oh, thank you to whoever sabotaged us today from the morning show. We're not going to name names, Pete Melfi. We're going to keep that completely clean, Pete Melfi. And we're just going to let that roll. But yeah, these glitches that happen from time to time never seem to happen on the morning show or Davy's show, but they certainly happen to us from time to time. It's almost as if all the scheduled glitches are between 5 and 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It could be the ghost. Or the Dobbs Demon.
The Dobbs Demon. We will blame the Dobbs Demon and not
Dobbs Demon in a while.
Mr. Melfi, because we love him.
Dude. So I put us live. The show prep cam's supposed to go for like a minute or so.
And then you looked at me and said, we're live.
And I got up to go make sure we were in the shot on the cameras. The cameras are still a little off. And then realized that we were live, which is super weird and awkward. Hi, guys.
Hello, hello, hello.
We're here.
We are here.
It's a Monday.
It is a Monday. We're glad to have you guys here. No, it's a complete Monday. We have all kinds of things to talk about, most of which I have no idea what they're going to be because it's one of those Mondays. I worked all day and I read headlines all day, and every once in a while you read all these headlines and you just go, blah.
Yeah.
Just, where's the good stuff that shows up for Thursday trivia?
I know. What is that?
When we can make fun of it. But we have stuff to talk about. We have lots of things, and we're going to talk about all those things right after we read ads that will make us money so we can keep coming back. And we love you guys.
Fix the cameras.
Yes.
You make money.
I'm going to make money. You fix the cameras. You want me to do both of them?
You're good.
All right. Salomon Services, the premier place for personal training in St. Augustine. They specialize in both youth and adult training classes. They have small group strength and fitness development classes, athletic development for both team and individual sports performance. If you've been injured, they can get you back on the field or the court in better shape and stronger. They have a state-of-the-art center with both indoor and outdoor turf areas. And every single one of their coaches, all their coaches are certified through the National Strength and Conditioning Association. Give them a call, 904-461-9945, or visit their website, salomonservices.com, and sign up today. Join me in the class.
Absolutely. For over 50 years, Epic has been a beacon of hope for our community, providing compassionate care for those touched by substance abuse or mental health disorders. Whether you're a kid, teen, adult, couple, or family, Epic is here to lend a helping hand. They have all sorts of programs. They're all tailored for detoxification, outpatient counseling, comprehensive care. They've got psychiatric evaluations, medication management, medication-assisted treatment, care coordination, and peer support. They do suicide prevention training, parenting education, and much, much more. Epic is an absolute beacon of hope in our community. They have a ton of things that get the community involved, and they are all about making sure that you are mentally strong and healthy. Epic behavioral health care for all of your healthcare needs. Abear Kresge and Associates, they are a full-service local CPA firm with a team of skilled professionals dedicated to providing top levels in the areas of tax compliance, planning for businesses, individuals, estates, and trusts. They do audits, reviews, and other accounting services, business valuations, forensic analysis, and litigation support. You can reach them at 904-460-0747 or online at abearkresgecpa.com.
All right, and A to Z, roofing and waterproofing. They've been serving St. Johns County for over 20 years. They offer free estimates. They also offer shingle roofs with warranties up to 50 years. And A to Z also installs tile roofing, cedar shake shingles, designer roof covering, and flat roof coverings. You can go to their website, A to Z, roofing and waterproofing, all spelled out, ATOZ, roofingandwaterproofing.com. You can see pictures of their recent projects. Chuck McCone and all of his team would like you to give them a call, 904-669-8037. They're great folks. They do an amazing job roofing, and they're one of the premier roofers here in St. Augustine.
They're fantastic.
They're wonderful people. All right. I have notes everywhere. I have no idea where to start. Let's do Fell on Fins.
Fell on Fins.
So the surf on Saturday was pretty good.
Okay.
It was a great sideshow while surfing. So the winds were much calmer than expected.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really fun little swell that was hitting just right. But they were taking out the pipes for the dredge.
Oh, yeah?
So you had all of these workers just offshore taking out the pipes and all these guys surfing around. And it was kind of an interesting, you never have a show. Usually when you look out there, you just see the ocean, and hopefully that's all you ever see. You don't want to see fins. But this weekend on Saturday, about 40 minutes into an hour and 40-minute session, I fell on my fins. I wiped out, landed on my fins. I luckily did not get cut. It was a miracle.
Yeah.
But I hit pretty hard. I had a pretty good mark on my upper left back and on my lower right where I kind of hit across the fins.
Cannot confirm.
No, I'm not showing anybody. I'm not. That's not a thing. But about another hour later, my board just wasn't riding correctly.
Yeah.
So I felt something kind of scratchy on the bottom of the board. So I flipped it over and I had lost the entire fin box. So they wrap it out so they can set the fin box in and then they epoxy that in for the board. After the blank's been made, they do all the glass work and everything. And so the whole thing was gone.
Yeah.
Just completely blown out.
You tanked your fins, huh?
Well, I think I cracked around the fin. I didn't do a good enough look afterwards. I was just so grateful I wasn't cut and bleeding.
Yeah.
But then I kept surfing and making, turns, and I probably, wave hit it just right or hit the bottom because it was pretty shallow, and the whole thing was gone. Just gone. So I go to church on Sunday. I walk into Colonial Church. I'm talking to Tim the Legend O'Neill and Jacob Galora, who is the head of Christian Surfers here in St. Augustine. They have a meeting tonight at 6:30 down at Butler Beach, which I'm going to confirm when Amanda's talking. But
nice.
I know. So they tell me that a Grom, you know what a Grom is?
Nope.
It's a little kid in surfing.
Okay.
So they're always stoked. Groms are like just completely stoked. There's a group of 3 or 4 of them that surfs around 5th Street every once in a while. If you're out there, you can hear them from 8th Street to A Street.
Yeah.
And they are like, every wave that comes by is Pipeline's best wave ever. I mean, they're just so excited. If it could bottle that energy and give it to Davey, because he's so sedate sometimes when he's on the show. Davey needs a little more energy. But anyway,
isn't Dark Crystal something like that?
Yeah. So one of these Groms has found the fin, and the fin box is still in there, all the way down by A Street, according to so we'll find out tonight. I'm headed to Christian Surfers to hopefully get my fin back,
funny.
Which I think is hilarious. But fins are not cheap these days. No, a set of fins is $70, $80.
Didn't you just get this board fixed?
No, that was the other board.
Oh.
I got it fixed, and I haven't had that one out much since I got it fixed. I'm kind of letting it recover. But I took another board out, which now I have to order a new board.
And then you busted it with your back?
Yes.
How dare you?
I know. It wasn't pretty. It could have been really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
It could have been really bad. So, yes.
So, how resilient are those things? Could they break a bone if you land on it?
I had a friend who fell on one, and it This was in the 80s. It went between his ribs, punctured his lung.
Dude.
Yeah. So it's not a
Surfboards and stingrays.
well, as Chris Rapero, who is one of the best surfers in this area, said, he said, everything on a board has an edge on it, right? You've got a nose that can get you. You got the fins that can get you. And the more fins you have, the more opportunity to get hit by.
Yeah.
He said, everything about a board, they're very hard, right? There's a couple of soft tops that are out there now that Jamie O'Brien has pioneered, the log and the stump, and a couple in between. The log, of course, is 8-foot long board, and the stump is like a 5-foot board, right? There's some middle ground in there. But so anyway, it's very, you could get hurt a lot of different ways. Plus there's the bottom, plus there's other surfers, plus there's other surfboards.
And rocks.
Boogie boarders, rocks. Yeah, there's all kinds of things. Sharks, it's really a non-contact sport, mostly.
Oy vey.
Mostly.
The water molecule's pretty insidious. It'll find any weakness and it'll take it out.
I watched my nephew wipe out, and he fell straight back on the flattest section of wave you could have, and it was just like the worst back flop I've ever seen.
Oh, man.
But at least he fell in water. I mean, I fell on my fin, so from my perspective, he did a whole lot better than I did. So, yeah. So that was my falling on the fin surfing story. How was your weekend?
My weekend was busy. Lots of weekend work. My kids are all about trying to get me to allow them to decorate the house for Halloween. And I need to get through one more birthday party before I'm okay with like full on. I let them do fall decorations, but like full on spooky Halloween decorations, I'm trying to hold them off.
Yes.
I'm like William Wallace. Hold.
We
got one more party. Once the party's done on Saturday, then you can spooky the poop out of this house.
Literally, they have trees with pointed spiked ends on them in the living room ready to go.
They're just everything. Yes. They have spears. The size of a man.
Yes.
Some that are bigger than others.
That's a great way to describe Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, birthdays.
Yeah. Happy
birthday shout out to my nephew Patton, who is 5 today.
Happy birthday.
And to my brother and sister-in-law who have an anniversary.
Nice.
And our family, one of our family members has said we're very good at stealing and borrowing birthdays and anniversaries. So it's more common that you have somebody that you share a birthday or something with, like your day.
Yeah.
So we have multiple people that have been born on the same day. My cousin was born a couple hours after me.
Yeah.
On my birthday. So it's just been one of those family things. We have a big family.
Keeps
so it's
you humble.
Well, it does. You don't have your own special day because you're sharing it with at least one other person, if not two.
Yeah. So you definitely don't have like the birthday week where it's all about you.
No, there's too many people involved in that week. You'd be throwing like a party.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, my parents' wedding anniversary is my daughter's birthday.
Yeah.
They share that. Other people, lots of shared birthdays with years in between. There's another family member that has a birthday that way younger than me, but yes.
Most of the anniversaries and birthdays in my side of the family fall between, even most of them on my husband's side, now that I think about it. So they almost all fall between the 1st of September and the end of February. There's a few outliers. We have one in April. We have one or two in like June. But almost all the birthdays are between September 1st and the end of February.
So
it's crazy.
Our big month is September. Mom and dad's wedding anniversary, dad's birthday, my grandfather's birthday, first grandson or great grandson, depending on what generation you're in's birthday. Patton's birthday, Lauren's birthday. There's just a lot. I mean,
busy over Thanksgiving and Christmas.
September is just a huge Davis family event. All kinds of people joining, including Matthew, my son, proposing to his girlfriend Peyton. So they are going to get married, which is awesome and amazing. Great girl.
That's amazing. Congratulations. Having had 2 September babies, I know exactly how your family celebrates Thanksgiving and Christmas.
How do we? Please explain.
Making them babies.
Please explain, Amanda. Please explain.
Yes.
All right. So we're very, very happy for all of that. But Oh my goodness. And then locally, Sing Out Loud is only a couple of weeks away and they still have tickets available for Saturday.
Yeah.
So if you want to go to Saturday, you should go to Saturday. And then also I gave you
the Noah Khan tickets. I don't know. I don't even know what day. I just know my daughter wants to do
Noah Khan is Sunday. Sunday's tickets are selling better than Saturday's tickets.
Yeah.
Also, I sent you the St. Augustine Vision meeting schedule.
All right.
You know, we talked about this in show prep.
Of course we did. We absolutely did. Everybody knows that we didn't because show prep was aired today.
Aired today, yes. So it's joined the Northeast Florida Regional Council and the City of St. Augustine at the following meetings to share your vision for the 2025 Vision Plan Update. So this is where the city and the Northeast Florida Regional Council figure out which direction we're going to go. You know, they planned for all this rapid growth after 2020 because they said, hey, that should be our vision. They have multiple places you can meet this Thursday, 5 p.m., September the 12th, at the St. Johns County Main Library, September the 16th at 6 p.m. at the St. Augustine Yacht Club, at 442 Ocean Vista Avenue, October the 2nd at 6 p.m. at the Willie Gallimore Community Center at 99 Riberia Street, October the 16th at 6 p.m. at the Waterworks Building on 184 San Marco Avenue, October 29th at the Shiloh Baptist Church, 271 West King Street, and November 13th, for those of you that missed all the other dates, at the Lightner Museum at 6 p.m., 75 King Street, in the Alcazar room where they do those famous planning and zoning board meetings.
Is that where those happen?
Those happen there. The city commission meets there.
In the pool?
Yes. Uh-oh, no. Andy says we have lost James Earl Jones. Can you please confirm?
I'll figure that out.
Oh my
gosh.
That's sad. That is terribly sad. James Earl Jones was in a lot of movies. He was obviously most famously not in the movie, but the voice of Darth Vader.
Yeah, he's passed away at 93.
He had such an amazing voice. He was in the first Conan movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was the bad guy. He was Admiral Greer in the very first version of Tom Clancy's Hunt for Red October.
Okay.
He was a phenomenal.
I loved him in Field of Dreams.
Great in Field of Dreams. Amazing role was The Sandlot.
Yes.
He was so good in The Sandlot. What a great
it's kind of like him. It's not the same character, but it's the same energy. It's the same sport that they're talking about. So I really wonder if he was a big baseball fan because he was in a couple of iconic baseball movies.
He had such an infectious smile and laugh and happiness in The Sandlot, right? You have all these kids that come to him with all this angst and worry and anxiety, and he just was having fun with them. He was just so happy to have kids in the house to talk baseball with. So it was
such a sweet character.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure he did a really hilarious cameo on Big Bang Theory. I'm checking to make sure I remember that correctly.
Not a Big Bang Theory. Fan theory, yes, that. But
yeah.
Did he?
So he and Sheldon meet, and he's, of all of the iconic sci-fi characters that Sheldon runs into, he's the only one that reciprocates Sheldon's enthusiasm. And they go and hang out one day. They just run all over town, and he ends up taking him to Carrie Fisher's house, and they ding-dong ditch Carrie Fisher.
Okay.
And so you just hear James Earl Jones laughing and giggling on the edge, and Carrie Fisher comes out and she's like, James, is that you again? It's such a funny cameo. He just seemed like he was a fun guy to hang out with.
I might actually have to watch that now.
It's such a funny
Just
episode.
because of James Earl Jones, not because I'm a nerd like you.
It's a really funny show. I like Big Bang Theory.
Not because I'm a nerd like you.
That's so sad.
I'm not going to, I'm just.
Rest in peace, James Earl Jones.
Yep. Thank you for all of the great memories and all of the great roles.
For sure. I mean, he helped voice my childhood through many of his roles.
It's such a great Darth Vader voice.
It really is.
He was so good.
So they didn't tell the actual actor in the suit that they were going to dub his voice.
Really?
So he did all the lines.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure he found out when he saw it at the premiere
Probably.
that it was a different voice.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really upset. But when you can see some of the footage of him acting out the lines, and it is comical because it is just not Darth Vader's voice.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like one of those bad lip reading videos where they dub in bad lip reading and what they're really saying because it's just so not Darth Vader's voice.
Yeah.
It's not a voice you would expect from someone of that stature. And so I totally get why they dubbed in James Earl Jones, but it was kind of a dick move from George Lucas to be like, oh yeah, you're Darth Vader.
Oh, I completely disagree
no one
with you.
sees his voice or sees his face, and nobody can hear his voice.
If Barney Fife's voice comes out of the Darth Vader suit, right? No. You have to have James Earl Jones's voice.
Oh my word!
Have to 100% have that voice. He was such a great. The Conan movie. He was just a good bad guy. Conan the Barbarian.
So I saw his when he was older. So I saw like Field of Dreams and some of his older work where he's more of a mature gentleman, right? I saw that first because of my age. And so I didn't see Conan and the Barbarian until much later.
Yes.
And it was such a shock to the system to see him young and in that kind of role because he was always in this sort of like grandpa authoritative wise older gentleman sort of roles.
I always saw him in that role as like he looked around, he saw Arnold Schwarzenegger, a bodybuilder. You had Jerry Lopez, the surfer. You had a bunch of people that were kind of athletes in that movie. And he's like, I'm just phoning this in.
Yeah.
I am not an athlete, but if I just give 50% of my acting capability to this, no one else is catching me. I can coast through this role and no one will get close to my acting prowess. I'm just going to, in fact, I'm going to turn into a snake in the middle of it and no one's going to say anything.
That's so funny.
Yes.
Oh my word. Yeah. So David Prowse is the actor that was actually in the Darth Vader suit. He's 6'6", and they didn't tell him that he was not going to be the voice. So I'm pretty sure his mom was at the premiere.
Yes.
And then the first line happens and he was really upset.
So here's the difference between 1977 when it comes out and today. Right? Today, Johnny Knoxville would have had a camera on David, and they would have been filming his reaction to him being like not the voice of.
No, it would have been Ashton Kutcher and it would have been like, oh, you're punked. It's too late.
Yes, it's too late. Exactly. I'll give you that one. Johnny Knoxville would have made him do some obnoxious stunt, but yeah, it's so different the way we handle things today.
Oh, for sure.
Everything is out there, but yeah. So rest in peace, James Earl Jones. Thank you for all the great memories and great roles that you played. And again, The Sandlot's one of my favorites.
So I think we should add a question to our 5 questions of like favorite iconic actor that passed away. Like which one was a shock to you?
Okay. All right.
I mean, he's 93, so it's not a huge surprise, but it's still like he's just always been there in my life as this sort of, like I said, wise older figure and such a great voice that it's bummer that he's gone.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Speaking of TV and movies, Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone's back on November the 10th.
Okay.
But the next week, November the 17th, another Taylor Sheridan show opens.
All right.
Landman.
Landman.
Now, hang on. It doesn't sound great in a title.
It's a terrible title.
Well, look it up.
Landman.
So do you like Billy Bob Thornton?
No.
Do you like Demi Moore? John Hamm?
Troy's watching. John Hamm.
My goodness, it's a tough crowd.
Yeah, I mean,
I actually thought it was, that is the title,
that's
right?
it. Yep. Yeah, it's Landman TV series.
Oh, it's about the oil industry. And
the boom towns of West Texas.
That's it.
All right.
It's going to be good.
There's got to be a better title than Landman.
I don't know. The trailer's awesome. I love the trailer. Because they get to the end and Billy Bob Thornton's drinking a beer. And they ask him, do you want something to drink? And he said, no, I quit drinking. I just drink beer now.
That's like, I think they call it LA sober,
Yeah.
where you don't do like hard narcotics or alcohol anymore, but you still smoke weed.
Smoke weed.
And you still do like psych meds,
Yes.
which is essentially methamphetamines for a lot of it.
Well, Andy and I are watching it for all the acting, including Demi Moore's future Emmy that she's going to win at this.
Does she keep her clothes on this time? Cammy?
I'll let Andy answer that question.
All right.
I'm not going to answer that one.
She's in all 10 episodes. I'm
Yes.
assuming there's only 10 episodes of the first season.
Yes, Barbara Jean, Sam Elliott still has it. Not going to lie. That dude's got the gravelly voice.
They've got, yeah.
It's a huge cast. There's several actors in it that have been in other Taylor Sheridan shows.
All right.
But there's, I'm really looking forward to that one.
Allie Larder. I recognize her. There's another, he's not Rip, but there's another like Rip looking dude. Like, we need a tall, muscular, bearded guy.
All of a sudden, you're
with
in.
a black hat.
Amanda's now in. Amanda will be watching
I'm
for
just
that
saying,
Rip dude.
Taylor Sheridan knows the formula that works, and he put in someone, J.R. Villarreal? I don't know.
Suddenly, Amanda's a fan. She will know his entire history by tomorrow morning.
It's Hispanic Rip. That's who it is.
Okay. There's a couple of young guys in that one, but yes.
Oh, man.
Leo is on. Leo, Hydro Games this Saturday at Huguenot Memorial Park. Leo, tell us what time.
Yes.
In the notes.
Saw that
and
on
then
Facebook.
lift up the swag bag that you have over there.
I do have my swag bag.
Lift up the swag bag and give Leo a little smile. The Task Force Hydro One swag bag.
You gave it to someone who carries it everywhere.
Yes.
I take that thing. It was at church on Sunday. It was at homeschool community. It's here. I take that thing everywhere, dude.
Leo, I was on a Christian surfer trip and I used the little black waterproof bag you gave me to carry stuff everywhere because I just, a couple of bucks and some things in there.
Yeah.
Thank you. 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tim O'Neill saw it, Leo. Tears were forming. You need to give me one of those bags. I don't have one of those bags.
One.
I said, go online and buy them. Make a donation,
Task Force Hydro One. They sell them at all their events.
Leo, no free giveaways for Tim the Legend O'Neill. He broke the clock at the FSU stadium.
Did he?
Well, they did clean the clock, and then the next week it didn't work at the game.
Clock
yes,
cleaned?
so and then they got their clock. I blame Tim for all of it.
Yeah, how you doing? Oh, the Terminator guy, the T-1000 or whatever.
Yeah.
The liquid metal Terminator guy.
Yes.
He's in this movie or this show.
Okay.
Mark Colley.
Yep.
He's a sheriff. Yeah, that seems to work for him.
That kind of works. He usually plays a bad guy. So this is going to be curious because he was the bad guy in Reacher season 2.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm trying to think. Taylor Sheridan and Yellowstone, the cops aren't always on the up and up.
A little bit of gray.
In Taylor Sheridan.
Quote,
just about everybody's a little bit of gray in Taylor Sheridan's
John Dutton,
work.
Donnie, there's a war coming to this valley and you better figure out whose side you're on.
Yep. Didn't he receive a rattlesnake in the mail?
I put you where you're at, Donnie. Don't you ever forget that.
Man, get him started on Yellowstone and we're not talking about anything
It's been 2 years, dadgummit. I'm ready for some Yellowstone.
I know. It's been a long wait. I didn't even start season 5 because I'm not buying the DVD until they've got both parts.
I'm ready for Beth, who's always calm and rational and finds the logical answer to every problem on that show to be back on the air.
So she is Beth to me now, the lady that plays that character.
Yes.
And so I had forgotten that I've seen other things that she's in. And my husband was watching the Robert Downey Jr., Jude Law Sherlock version. Yep. And she's in that. And I was like, for a second, I was like, are we watching Yellowstone? What's going on?
She was. She was.
She's
yes. She was.
Is she Watson's wife?
She's Watson's wife.
No.
And not a fan
not a fan of Sherlock.
Not a fan of Sherlock Holmes.
Would you be?
Well, Robert Downey Jr. played that really well.
Yeah.
That was I thought that was really. I thought the first one was better than the second one, but I thought the first one was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that incarnation of Sherlock Holmes. I think Robert Downey Jr. does a good job with the Sherlock character.
Mm-hmm.
He's just manic enough and quippy enough that he can play a sort of criminal genius.
Yeah, he's the good genius, and you're like, just one little shove in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Without Watson's influence, he could be Moriarty.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think Benedict Cumberbatch did a really good job with the role too.
Yeah.
I really liked the BBC.
Hey, Tim is on here and he says they're finally halfway to their goal. So we need to talk about
Y'all need to buy some ribs.
We got to buy some ribs. Is that this weekend or next weekend?
I think, here, I'll pull it up. I think we're in the last week of orders for that.
Tim
will get there before I get there.
Yeah, Tim will get there. Tim, give us some info. Is this the last week for orders? I was telling somebody about it today at lunch.
Yes.
Lunch with my cousin Wayne, and we were talking about it. I was like, I might need to order some. I can't eat all the order because I think it's like September 18th. Okay.
All right.
So we got
some time.
A little bit more than a time. Okay. I need to
week
get
and
an
a
order.
half.
I need to get an order in.
All right. I'm pulling up the post.
Saturday, the 21st is pickup. Tim, where is pickup? We're just going to make you do all the work today, Tim.
It's at Melvin's Repair Shop, 1625 Old Moultrie Road, starting at 11 a.m.
Okay. You guys cooking there too? Melvin's Repair. Those guys are great. They're one of the unsung, quiet people in town that just that whole fan that do amazing work and just slide under the radar.
Maybe they can fix my van since Coggin Honda sucks.
So you have a van review? Are you putting this on Yelp? Is that what you're putting it on? Auto Trader, whatever it is, DealerRater.com. Are you?
Dealer Rater is where
what
I need to go.
What is wrong with the van?
They sold me a lemon and then they constantly act like I'm sabotaging the van. So they just keep charging me to fix the same thing over and over again. And I'm like, hey, I paid for this already and it's still not fixed. And they're like, yeah, but we already did all this. So now you have to pay us. I'm like, but I paid for it 3 times now. So what's going on? And then they treat me like I'm an idiot woman. And yeah, so
you pull into the parking lot?
I can't stand them. I need my oil changed, but I haven't gotten it changed because I don't want to go and talk to them.
One of the maintenance guys, like, here comes that crazy woman.
She's about to get kicked right in the nuts. I'm
she
so
is
mad at
nuts.
them. I can't stand them.
Yes.
I don't like Coggin Honda. I will never buy another Honda ever again because of Coggin.
Robert Chapman. Melvin was the Melvin's Repair Shop was the dad that started it. Robert is his son. Robert's an absolutely wonderful guy. During Project Swing, we needed another truck that had an arm on it that could auger for a telephone pole.
Okay.
And we had 150 to set, and we only had one truck, and we were never going to make the first day of getting all these poles in the ground. And I called him up at noon or 10 o'clock, and I said, Robert, I've got this great deal for you. If you bring your auger truck down here, you do still have that, right? He's like, yeah, we got it. I said, you need to stop everything you're doing to make money for your family and your business. I need you to bring the auger truck down, and we got to put 75 poles in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chip Yelton was doing the other 75. And I said, we got to get this done. And the deal is, if you show up, I'm not going to pay any money, but I'll have lunch and dinner for you. He was there in 15 minutes.
And then he called Andy.
he was there. And no, we had a whole team together,
right.
A meal crew that had enough food for everybody. All the restaurants were donating food. Had Andy been here, he would have done breakfast or lunch for us one day. But yeah, it was great. Robert was phenomenal. And anytime there's a lot of charitable causes that he's involved in that he quietly does a phenomenal job. So
yeah.
Shout out to them and their whole family. So yeah.
They're awesome. I'm putting Jimmy Jam in the comments.
Jimmy Jam in the comments. All right. God, where do I want to go? We talked about that. So I'm one of these guys that reads a lot of politics stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I've discovered this year is no different than any other year. If you're kind of interested in politics.
So watch last year's show.
No, the last year was different. This year, like national, like every 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of things out there if you're on social media that are clickbait, right? Depending on what you're like cooking, they send you cooking clickbait stuff.
Yeah.
If you're into the opposite sex, there's all that clickbait.
Yeah.
If you're into political news, there's all that stuff.
If you're, yeah.
I constantly, when I pull up one of the internet servers I use that runs ads,
mm-hmm.
I think it's InterRec Explorer, but when I pull that one, I get all these Star Trek and Star Wars stories because I will click on those occasionally to see what's going on. So I am like subject to that. But I started laughing because in the same day,
Mm-hmm.
there will be a story by Newsweek. Donald Trump takes lead in national poll.
Yes.
The next story, Kamala Harris takes astounding lead in swing states. It is all just clickbait, and it's all the same. The only thing that matters is November 5th. I'm not clicking on another polling story.
Yeah.
I'm done. No more polling stories.
But did you hear that the election Nostradamus, who's been right every time except for one, says that Kamala Harris is going to win?
Do you know the time he was wrong?
It was Bush Gore.
No, it was
No?
last time.
No, I thought it was
There
Bush
was
Gore.
one guy who had only missed. There is one guy. Yeah, there's two Nostradamus. There's one guy that only
I'm
missed
talking
one.
about the professor.
And that was he called Trump as the winner.
Mhm.
And Biden won. And there's another guy who only missed the Bush Gore one.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's a couple out there that have these programs that have done extremely well. So,
Well, the one that picked Harris, so I'm pulling that up.
yep.
The one that picked Harris is pretty funny because he does his picks. It's Alan Lichtman. He does his picks based on a survey.
He was so good in Robin
And
Hood
then-
with Kevin Costner.
Caveat out with the spoon. So he does like this like, it's not even a poll or anything. He doesn't go off any polls. He has like this list of questions that he himself answers.
Yes, no questions.
And then,
Mhm.
so based on his own bias and what he's seeing, he answers, and he's been right. It's 13 keys, he calls them.
Yep.
And he's been right for every election since 84.
Mm-hmm.
Is that every election? Yeah. So he calls them the 13 keys to the White House. When you actually read through them, they're pretty hilarious because like he did not answer correctly for a lot of them, in my opinion.
Well, my thing is sooner or later he's got to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So as a Trump supporter, I hope it's this year. But there's another guy who works off of metrics, numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Where's inflation? Where's interest rates? Where's unemployment? And
Yeah, that's
he
not what
works
this
off,
guy
and
does.
it's not this guy because
Yeah.
when I saw that guy had only missed the Trump call in 2020, so the only one. All right, October surprise. Is there any October surprise coming? There was a
So-
huge surprise the other day when Vladimir Putin endorsed Kamala.
Yes, even though that's not what we were told forever. And if you go and play back Biden, he almost never says Kamala.
He almost never says his own name because he can't remember.
You know. I
pop.
think that
Corn pop.
October surprises are obsolete now that the internet is the way that it is. And I think that 2020 proved that
Mm-hmm.
because they were holding on to the Hunter Biden story for an October surprise. And they didn't count on the level of censorship of that story.
Yep.
And they didn't have enough time to combat it. So by the end of November, there were multiple polls saying I would have voted a different way had I known that that story was legit. They just didn't have enough time. So I really feel like if there's going to be a surprise, it needs to be in September, not October at the latest. And they were counting on the sentencing trial to be the October surprise. And that got pushed back.
That got pushed back.
Mhm.
It also, let's do the sentencing trial second.
Okay.
So the first thing you talked about with Hunter Biden,
Mhm.
The Democrats knew that was going to come out
Mhm.
because in the summer they were telling big tech,
Yeah.
when this story hits, it will be Russian disinformation.
Yeah.
So they poisoned the field so that
yeah.
story was not going to grow. So they knew it was coming. Somehow they had info that it was going to break.
Mhm.
They knew exactly what was going to hit. So then when it did hit, there was no fertile ground for that story to grow in.
Yeah.
Right. So there was no way it could get any
Not
growth.
immediately.
Yes.
It did eventually get there, but it was too late. Everyone had already heard that it was Russian misinformation.
If you were a normal, believable person, you looked at that story and said, there could be some truth to that. And let's see what it is.
Mhm.
Right. But the level of censorship told me that it was true.
Yeah.
That was the checkbox for me of, oh, you don't want anybody to see that and you won't let it, then it's true.
At this point, if any side of the aisle is in 100% agreement, you don't need to look any further. This is just fake.
Mm-hmm.
Then you know that it's probably somewhere near the truth. Yeah. If it's 100%, don't question it. Look no further. Just trust me, it's fake. If people in power are telling you, just trust me, it's fake, don't look into it, it's probably real.
It's probably real. That's just the way it rolls these days. It's probably real.
Don't buy it anymore.
The sentencing hearing, what torpedoed that a little bit is the video that came out this past week.
Yeah.
So the video that came out this past week was somebody in Alvin Bragg's office trying to pick up a chick.
Yeah.
And they had a video positioned somewhere very low angle up towards this guy's face at a bar. I don't know where they had the video.
Camera right here.
I don't know where the camera was.
He would have looked there, so it wasn't there.
I think it was actually lower than that. I think it was like a belly button cam or something. It was a belly button cam or something.
Gun in her bra, she had a camera.
Maybe worse. I'm not going to go there, but this guy, I mean, it's like an up angle of him, and he's like, oh yeah, that was all made up, and the reason it was made, and he really, you could tell this was a guy who was trying to impress someone. He was trying to impress somebody that he knew more than anybody else
that was
knew.
His statement.
And he was letting this out of the bag, right? And I mean, I really kind of want to see a picture of the chick that he was trying to impress. I'm just curious. You know, this guy takes like this. If I tell the truth, I could get lucky tonight. So, there's no way this woman's going to believe a lie, so I better tell the truth.
So that story was that video was captured by a group called Mug Club Undercover.
Yes.
And there's a whole backstory to why it's called that. But I've seen some of the people that are on camera when they do some of these Mug Club Undercover reveals and some of the interviews, like man on the street style interviews, as a result of some of the backlash of these, they're very attractive girls. They're very, very attractive girls.
So what you're saying is
Yeah.
the really small brain in a human man had no chance.
Not a chance.
Okay, just saying.
Those are the ones that they let us see on camera. I can't imagine how pretty the ones we're not allowed to see are. But yeah, that was a wild video. And his whole thing was like, I was just trying to impress a girl. That was his statement afterwards. And it wasn't exactly that I was wrong or that I lied. I was just talking big to impress a girl, and they deserved more respect than I gave them in that conversation. And it's like, but you didn't say that you're wrong.
No. No.
Just
so here's the thing.
Respect.
He is completely slated to fail upwards in the Democratic Party. So I would expect him to be a Democrat rep or congressman at some point in time in the future with a little reference point at the bottom. He also spoke to some really beautiful woman about Alvin Bragg only prosecuting Donald Trump because Alvin Bragg wanted to become a household name.
I could see him becoming a Democratic correspondent on Fox News because he can't get hired anywhere else.
Well, they do have hot chicks on Fox.
They do.
There's no telling what he'll tell Ansley Earhart.
Based on that video, that is what he would need in order to start talking.
Oh, gosh.
It was some pretty wild statements that were made in that undercover
I just
video.
like to be arrested with him. Keep it a secret. Don't let the cops know what we did. And then they send in this beautiful cop, and all of a sudden you're the one going to jail for life.
Sang like a bird.
She walks in. He's like, I'm not going to say. He did. It was all his idea.
Hello, darling. So I would like to get a cup of coffee with you.
Worst conspirator to get arrested with is that guy.
I seem to remember that being the strategy of numerous espionage and theft, big heist movies.
Yes.
Send in the pretty girl to the lonely pencil pusher.
Never worked anywhere in any Hollywood movie that I can remember.
Or all of them.
Ever. All of them. Every single one. All right. It's almost 15 till. We've got several questions. You threw in an extra one for 5 questions today.
Yes.
Favorite iconic actor that has passed?
I think the one that hit me the hardest was probably Robin Williams.
Yeah.
That one hit me real hard. But honestly, Jerry Orbach, I had like a real deep dive in Law and Order as a young adult.
Yep.
And so when
Every Thursday night.
Jerry Orbach passed, then that was like the dad from Dirty Dancing, the voice of Lumiere in Beauty and the Beast. And like he just, again, he was like a granddad figure that passed away, and that one hurt. So those, yeah, I'd probably add James Earl Jones to that list.
There's some great, I mean, Heath
Patrick
Ledger is a great
Swayze,
one.
yeah.
Patrick Swayze. Heath
died
Ledger
young.
was such a tragedy because
It was
his
just
role as the Joker
self-destruction.
was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And just absolutely so good. Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Barbara Jean still has Sean Connery posters from Dr. No in her house. I'm not judging. And by the way, you are 1-0, so go ahead and gloat. Vikings
Nice.
won. Just gloat, Barbara Jean.
Betty White. Betty White's a good one. She was recent.
Listen, I got to go way
She
back.
made it to 99.
So for me growing up as a kid, John Wayne,
Yeah.
right? When John Wayne passed, that was that. And John Wayne was already pretty old when I was 10. I think The Shootist came out in like 1975 or 76, somewhere in there. So he's already late in his career. But John Wayne, and then the other one I can remember being completely shocked about is when Elvis passed.
Yeah.
Elvis was a huge, I mean, his music, his movies. If you were a kid that grew up in the 70s, Elvis was a guy that was there. So yeah. I mean that just for
John
me.
Candy is another one.
Yeah, John Candy was a great one. Belushi, right? You had a lot of these actors that, yeah, obviously drugs and addiction shortened their life. Some of them, the demons that they fought with, Robin Williams, right? So I mean, it's just it's a shame, but yeah, when John Wayne passed, that was tough.
Yeah.
I was a huge John Wayne fan.
Yeah.
Still quote John Wayne movies every day.
Robin Williams, just, man, that one just really hurt though, because it was like he got this diagnosis that was neurodegenerative, and the thing that seemed to bring him the most joy also seemed to isolate him a lot, which was making people laugh, like always being on to make people laugh. And I just felt like he knew he was going to lose that, and he couldn't do that. He couldn't face it. And so that one really hurt. So, yeah.
All right.
Barbara Jean, I'm not gloating. I'm happy.
Barbara Jean, gloat all you want.
There's
Listen,
some good people in there.
I want Barbara Jean to know I have talked to an LSU fan, my Florida fans, and my Florida State brethren that we're all. We have decided that there's a writer's strike in college football, and the season has been canceled for us, and the writers will come back next summer. And they'll write a new script for 2025, and that's when I'll watch college football again.
So we had a false start. My husband got our antenna wired, and so my kids are super excited, and they put on the game, and they're the ones putting on the game for once. And so I was upstairs doing some reading and some work for school, and I get called down. We're watching the Clemson game. Because they're new football fans, they didn't realize that they play old games. And I was like, I really thought the Clemson game was on, like, kickoff was at 8.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, I guess I was wrong. Like, it's not unusual for me to be wrong about those things. So I was like, that's really weird. I really thought it was a later game. So we go down, we watch the game that is on where we lose. And I'm like, man, that's a bummer. Like, first home game we lose? That sucks. It's like, well, kids, you know,
Who'd you guys lose to?
there's long, dry spells. As Clemson fans, you have some good years, and then you have long, dry spells.
Did you guys lose this weekend,
we
too?
didn't lose. We won. We watched an old game.
Oh, gosh.
Where it was like 40, we were 42 and up against a team that had 40 points. In the last minute of the game, they end up getting within field goal range, and they beat us 43-42.
Pittsburgh, maybe?
Yeah, I think it was Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
and so, like, they're watching that old game, and I keep saying, like, I'm pretty sure the game's on later. And they're like, no, but it's on right now, see? So we watched a loss, and then I wake up for church, and I open up Facebook, and I'm friends with Clemson University on Facebook, and whenever they win, of course I am.
Of course you
It's how I keep up with it.
Yes.
I get that it's a great night to be a Tiger. And I'm like, but we lost. It's like, I was right.
Yeah.
Kickoff was at 8. We watched the wrong game.
I've not done that. I have to admit I haven't. I have gone back and rewatched classic wins
Yeah.
to soothe horrible losses. I'll just go back and watch it.
So I think the Pittsburgh fans were doing that.
Yes.
And my kids tuned into the wrong channel. They don't understand live TV. It's a learning process.
All right. So Andy doesn't apply to Andy, this question, but is college football already over for you?
Not for me. We won. I didn't know we won, but we won.
I got to tell you right now, and I don't want Bobby back, Tim. I mean, I love the Bobby Bowden years. I want Norvell to have a great career, and I really like him as a coach, and I hope he can right the ship. I'm not sure he's got the talent that he needs to have this year. Jordan Travis was an amazing player, and we have a Jordan Travis hangover this year because he's gone.
Well, there was the horrible call that knocked them out of playoffs for no reason. And so you guys lost a lot of talent as a result of that, didn't you?
That talent was leaving anyway.
Okay.
They just decided not to play a meaningless bowl game, which means we got shellacked by a really good Georgia team.
Okay.
Who also had a lot of players who didn't play, but their depth really kicked our butt. So, yeah.
Right.
So anyway, it will be very interesting to watch what goes on. And I feel for the Gator fans. I'm not but their schedule is horrific. It might be the most difficult schedule in the history of college football.
Did they win?
They did win this weekend.
Okay.
They did.
I was going to say, I thought that they had a good
and
weekend.
A few knuckleheads were like, we're back in contention. It's like, have you seen the rest of your schedule?
Yeah.
Yeah, Saturdays are kind of free days for me right now.
Yeah.
There's just not, I mean, I guess.
What about Sundays? What the heck? Jags in Miami. Jags are doing so well.
We fumbled the ball on the 1 yard line, and I knew it was a loss then. If you're a Jags fan,
that hurt.
You have to admit when you see something like that and we're playing well, you go, yep, that's the beginning of the end. Mm-hmm. And then when the announcers start going, the Jaguars have the longest streak in football when leading at halftime. 13 straight wins. You're like, well, there goes that streak. We're going to probably lose that.
13. Number 13.
The Jaguars have not given up points in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter and overtime in 3 years. Ah, there goes that streak, right?
Yeah.
Then say these things. Meanwhile, the Miami kicker comes out. He's 7 for 7 on last second field goals. You're like, that streak's intact because he's against the Jaguars. Yeah.
That one hurt.
Yeah.
Austin was on the sidelines, though.
We did watch Darcy and I watched a bit of HBO
Austin
series Hard Knocks, the Chicago Bears training camp, and it was the episode where they cut Austin. They cut another QB who they would have taken over Austin because he had 6 years of experience, but that guy got picked up by, I think it's the Minnesota Vikings. I think Minnesota picked him up.
All right.
So Austin got signed, which gives him a chance to grow and learn under two really good quarterbacks.
It's awesome.
But yeah, I'm happy for Austin. He's got a pro contract. He's a great young man. He's been on our show a couple of times.
Yeah.
As a local kid. We'll get him back at the end of the season before he has to go train and everything. Yeah. So yeah, great.
It's a good kid, good family.
He's a really good kid from a really, really good family. Mm-hmm. Even if his dad does like Miami. Can't be perfect, Tom.
Pretty sure his mom does too.
Can't be perfect. They're not a perfect family. They're just a really good family.
Good people, a little misguided.
There's a dark side to them, but we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
No. All right. Amanda's question, do you miss Blockbuster Video?
Yes.
Does anybody out there, and if you miss it, tell us why you miss it. Why?
I miss it because you would meet people. Like people that you know and you're friends with. You would all like end up there on a Friday night and you would always see someone you know and start a conversation. Maybe you guys go and hang out and watch a movie together. You never know what movies are going to be in stock and what movies aren't going to be in stock. So you go in there's anticipation. They have movie theater popcorn without having to be in a movie theater. It's great. I love Blockbuster Video and I miss it.
So what you're saying is you didn't get out of the house enough during the week.
No, I was on sports teams and high achieving academics and, and I was in competitive choir. I was busy. So Blockbuster Video was fun. And I was a very sober, good girl. So I didn't go party on the weekends. I had sleepovers and we watched movies.
How many people remember the original video stores in St. Augustine? There were 2 or 3 of them, and they weren't Blockbuster.
I wasn't here, but-
Blockbuster put them all out of business, but they were like these pop-up stores in these little, I mean, they weren't much bigger than this room.
Yeah.
Not that this isn't a huge studio, but they weren't much
massive.
bigger than this. It's massive. Largest studio ever.
Huge.
It's the best studio ever in the state of Florida. People say that it's the greatest studio ever.
I agree.
So anyway, but there were these little hole in the walls that just popped up.
Mhm.
And they'd have like 2 or 3, and their sign everywhere was, be kind,
Keely
rewind.
said Aardvark.
Yes. Yes, there was all these little places, yes.
Be Kind Rewind was one of Pacey's iconic moments in the early years of Dawson's Creek.
Okay.
You don't know any of that,
Not
but
a bit.
people my age do.
No, Dawson's
Pacey,
Creek.
so dreamy.
Dawson Creek hit your generation. My generation was already,
Yeah.
We were still into Cheers and
Yeah.
all that
I
kind of
also
stuff.
enjoyed Cheers.
Yeah. Seinfeld.
So I wasn't here for Aardvark, but our pre-Blockbuster video was Network Video. We had Network Video, and they sold books and candy, and also had rental videos. And I loved them, and I miss them.
Tim Goss, Dukes of Hazzard. Friday night. I think it was on at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
It was a Friday night. I'm pretty sure it was a Friday night.
Well, after TGIF went downhill and then went off the air, then it was Blockbuster Video for all of your excitement. We would like pitch a pop-up tent in my living room, and then we would just watch movie after movie, eating way too much candy and drinking way too many sodas. Wild nights.
I'm just trying to think of comments that Davey would have said with what you just said a minute ago. Just.
Nope.
Yep. Just going to let it go.
Nope.
Video magic. There's all kinds of, but Blockbuster literally put them out because Blockbuster was a
Yeah.
bigger store. They'd have 30 of a movie instead of 4 or 5 copies of a movie.
Yeah. Blockbuster killed Network Video.
All right. Speaking of,
But now I
what was the
listen.
last movie you went to go see in the movie theater? I saw Reagan last week. I thought it was great. Dennis Quaid. What about you?
Deadpool 3.
That was really good too. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman made bank on that money.
We went to the COA silent auction Staying Alive event,
Yes.
and that ended relatively early. Council on Aging event ended early.
Why
so
is that a shocker?
We went to the late showing of Deadpool that night. We
I-
had childcare, so we just double-deckered the date night.
It was a really good movie, and I can't imagine that they will not be back. When it makes this,
Dude.
it's probably close to $1 billion or something.
I think it's made over $1 billion at this point
Yeah.
worldwide.
I mean, that's just an incredible. First of all, it made fun of so many characters.
Oh my word!
When you saw Chris Evans in the movie, you were convinced that Captain America was a part of
Oh
it.
yeah.
And then he's the Human Torch.
Well, because Deadpool is part of Marvel now,
yes.
like backdoored his way into Marvel.
Mhm.
And so he's so excited and, this is going to happen. And then, he's the Human Torch.
Yes.
Fantastic Four.
Bobby, I'm jealous of the North Carolina State Wolfpack. You guys have managed to play 3 good quarters against a quality team. We have 0 good quarters so far. So just jealous of Bobby. I don't care what the outcome was, Bobby.
You're no longer counting wins. You're just counting successful
We're
quarters.
starting, yes, we're well past the point of counting wins anymore.
So when you get 8 successful quarters, will we have a pizza night to celebrate?
I'll go for 1 successful quarter and I'll buy the pizza.
All right.
Just want 1 successful quarter.
Right on.
All right. Yeah. Most people aren't going to the movies. It's really
Yeah.
kind of, you buy tickets online now and you can kind of pick your movie seat
Mhm.
and you can go, well, there's only going to be 12 people in the movie theater.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not too bad.
The owners of movie theaters got a double whammy with that C virus that we're not supposed to talk about and lockdowns and social distancing and all that stuff. And then with what Hollywood has done to storytelling. I mean, and that's what's so funny about Deadpool. I mean, Deadpool is raunchy and ultra violent, and it's just not a movie you want to tell your pastor that you had fun watching, but it made $1 billion. It was also apolitical.
As a Catholic, when I left that movie, I scheduled confession.
Right on. I'm Episcopalian, so
I called that in. I got the online appointment for the next confession available.
do they have like confessionals on the interwebs now? Can you Zoom a confessional now?
I don't think that you can. I don't know that you can.
Can't get
I'm not
absolved
sure
online?
you can. You shouldn't be able to.
That's why Catholic churches are losing it with millennials and Zoomers. They need to FaceTime a priest for confession.
There's actually some growth in some of the more traditional churches. Yeah. There actually is some growth.
There's more growth in traditional churches.
I'm going to tell you this. There's a revival going on in the country. It's going on at a lot of college level, a lot of young kids being baptized at some of these larger schools. There's videos of it. Jenny Allen, I think, is one of the people that's going around and helping with this. And yeah, the generation that's coming up is going to surprise the generation that is now bitching and whining about most things.
Yeah. And Russell Brand, I mean, he is on fire for Jesus right now.
Yes, he is.
He finished up his Tucker Carlson live event in Arizona with a really beautiful, heartfelt prayer. And it's like,
on his knees, no less.
Yeah.
On his knees.
I mean, he didn't just do the lean forward in the seat. He went down on his knees.
Yep. Congrats to the Flashes. And their coach, Cash Forbich, and also to FSDB that won 54-0, not against St. Joe, but they got a game coming up at some point, usually St. Joe and Florida School for the Deaf and Blind. They're one of the oldest rivalries, along with St. Augustine High and Palatka.
Interesting.
Yes, we got some good rivalries. Okay, tomorrow morning, tune into the morning show. They really need your help. Bring a friend. They could use some help. And then there's a little watch show in the middle of the day that Davey and Pete are on, and really bring two friends to that one. Bring two friends to that one.
I have no control. Maybe next time we won't go live before we're supposed to go live. So
hopefully, but that's what happens when we go live. I take shots. And then Davey will be here tomorrow with us to do all of our Fun Tuesday stuff, and we will have members of Epic are coming to talk to us for a bit tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Epic conversation with Epic tomorrow. You guys have a great night.
Bye.